Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you guys a really cool technique I like to do from the waiter position. It's a really strong back take that I learned from a French competitor. I'll tag him in the caption, but it's really strong, and I have Adam Bradley here helping me as my uke. Hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys just kind of the major movements going on in this waiter position. The entry we're going to use is from the deep half, and yeah, let's get into it. So let me get you on this side, Trev. So we're going to start in the half guard with the knee shield, okay? I'm framing the shoulder, framing the arm, and framing the other shoulder with my knee right here. The first thing I'm going to do is punch my top underhook with my left hand and my right underhook on his leg with my right hand. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. Right here. And now I'm doing your ordinary deep half entry, where I'm rolling to my back and I'm looking to elongate this leg. So watch how that looks right here. I roll to my back, my legs are straightening his leg, and I roll all the way until I'm facing you again, just like this, okay? Now to enter the waiter guard from this position, I'm gonna take my left hand, I'm gonna bring my knees towards my chest, and then I'm gonna underhook with my hand facing the floor on his ankle. Now I open my legs, and I start to bring my knees closer to Trav's torso, and I pull his leg up into my shoulder like this. Here. And you see my legs end up in this kind of like chopped scissor position. This is the position I want to be in right here, okay? Now, I need to keep his leg up near my shoulder and keep his other leg curled near my shoulder too, like I'm making a big muscle pose with my arms. Now, I'm gonna control his collar with my right hand, and I'm gonna slide my underhook down to his toes with my left hand. And now I'm thinking about bringing him to my left and dropping his knee to the floor. So I'm doing like this. Here, okay? Keep your leg on my shoulder, yeah. So we end up in this position, okay? As soon as his knee touches the ground, I'm gonna release this underhook, and I'm gonna build up to my elbow, and then I'm gonna shrug my shoulder and allow his leg to pass to the other side of my head, here. Now, I'm locking my forearm behind his back, and I'm pulling my knee right here. I'm pulling my knee from out between his legs, so it's more like a shin slice. And then I'm gonna step my left leg in front of his leg. So that's gonna look like this. Forearm goes behind, knee goes in, and now I'm stepping this leg inside, right here. Now I'm gonna hip escape out so that his hips fall in between my legs. So if we rotate a little bit, Trav, he's kind of sitting on top of my thigh right here. I'm gonna hip escape out using my elbow to pull my body out, and he's gonna fall between my lap, right here. And now you see, I still have the forearm along the back. I'm gonna underhook his shoulder, and then I release the grip behind his back, and I get my seatbelt. And now from here, I can get my second hook just by winging open his arm with my underhook, and then sliding my leg inside. Okay, now I'm gonna go over the same sequence, but we're gonna go into a little bit more detail, and we're gonna talk about why we're doing some of the movements. Okay, so let me get you back on the half guard, please, Trav. So, here in the half guard, again, I have my top knee shield. My hand is blocking his shoulder, my other hand is blocking his arm, and I have my bottom knee shield out as well, okay? What I'm thinking about in this position is just controlling the distance. And the main thing I'm thinking about is that when I sit up to get my 2 underhooks, he doesn't stop me with this arm right here. Okay, so pay attention to how I sit up here. My left leg is gonna kind of open the space by extending and bringing him forward. And my hand on the shoulder is gonna swim inside like this to get my underhook, while my right hand continues to occupy this arm so he doesn't hug my head, okay? So I'm going 1, 2, 3. See, I'm still holding onto his hand. What I don't want to happen is to put my elbow here and then Trav hugs my face. I start to pull like that, and then I just kind of touch here, and then I'm in a bunch of student loan debt, and my life is ruined. Okay, so I'm here, I open the space with my knee, I swim my left hand, I continue to block his arm, and I put my knee or my ear to his chest. Now I can release this hand when my head is connected to his chest and underhook his thigh. Okay. Once I get here, I'm ready to enter the deep half. When you're entering the deep half, you're essentially doing this. You're rocking from your right shoulder to your back to your left shoulder, like this. And you're trying to straighten his bottom leg, okay? So pay attention to that. Look at this leg right here. I go flat to my back, and my legs extend and straighten his leg. And now I start to bring his body all the way around, okay? And now I have the deep half. When I'm here in this position, I wanna keep my head connected to his thigh, and I wanna hold right on his thigh like this, because I don't want him to step over my head in this position. Trav manages to step over my head in the deep half, boom, like this. He can underhook me, and he can start to pass my guard, okay? So as soon as I enter, I'm using his thigh kind of like a pillow. Okay, so I'm pressing my head into his thigh and I'm holding really tight with my underhook. Okay. Now on this part right here, you're gonna reach down and look for the underhook on the leg, but sometimes it can be really far away. Like you see right here, I can barely reach. So you're gonna work with your control on his leg to bring his leg up to you. So see how I rock, and then I bring my knees to my chest, and now I'm able to reach down and control right under his ankle. And now I start to enter the waiter position, okay? So once I have this ankle control, I bring my knees up, okay, like this. See, I'm sliding from his ankles up to his thigh, and I'm thinking about having my bottom leg right behind his knee and creating a bend in his leg by pulling against the bottom of his leg like this, okay? And I don't need to triangle my legs in this position. As a matter of fact, if you're not gonna sweep from the waiter position right away, I suggest you go to waiter X. Okay, so that position looks like this. I control the pants, I control the hip on the far side, and I'm gonna lift, and I'm gonna work my knee inside, and then pull my other leg out, like this. The reason I go to this position is if I hang out in this position too long, he's gonna ankle lock my leg. And if he goes face down above my head, this is gonna be really gnarly, and it's gonna make you like scream tap, which is super embarrassing. And then you can't go back to that gym anymore. You have to move states. It's horrible. I've done it 3 times. So I'm lifting his leg. I'm bringing my bottom leg inside. And now I'm using my bottom leg to extend his leg up and pull my knee in. You see? So I'm going like this. And now I stay in this position until I'm ready to attack anything from the waiter guard. Okay, I'm safe in this position. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna be doing is with my hand that I'm holding his other leg with, I'm controlling the collar. And this is gonna be very, very useful later on once I get closer to attacking his back, because this is gonna be the #1 thing, well, maybe the #2 thing that prevents his rotation and his escape. So I'm going pinky up, 4 fingers inside. It doesn't need to be really, really deep like this. It doesn't have to be like way up to next to his shoulder. Just grab whatever you can get right here and it's gonna be fine, okay? Now, I'm gonna start to set him up for the back take now. I start to allow my legs to fall back into the waiter. My underhook is gonna travel down to his toes. See, I'm holding his toes right now. And then I'm thinking about tipping him to my left until his knee and his hand post on the ground. So look, I'm going like this. My legs are kind of rocking towards you guys, like this, and I'm just making sure his foot doesn't post. So I'm pulling his foot towards me, and it looks like this here. As soon as his knee touches the ground, the reason I hooked on his toes is so that I can easily pull my elbow up to myself and build up my base and gain mobility, okay? If I hook too deep, come back, Trev. If I hook too deep, sometimes when you bring him to this side, you can't get your arm out. So I like to already have it next to his toes and pull myself up to my elbow, okay? Now, the next thing I'm thinking about doing is passing his leg to the other side of my head and then immediately retracting my knee, okay? So I'm kind of shucking with my left or my right shoulder and dipping my head so his leg passes over my head like this, okay? Now, if you look at this position I'm in right now, there's a moment of vulnerability here for the knee bar because my knee line is inside of his legs. So if I go and I try to attack his back and he starts to swallow my leg up, this can be really bad. Go ahead, Trav, fall to your side and attack the knee bar. Yeah, boom. See, he's gonna start to attack the knee bar, okay? In order to prevent this, as soon as you shuck his leg over your shoulder, pull your knee line back behind his legs, okay? So my knee line is in front of his hips. I'm gonna pull it out, and it looks like this. I shuck, like that. And now, notice my right knee is stepped in front of his thigh, just like this. What I'm gonna do now is switch my hooks, okay? So I'm gonna take my heel, and I'm gonna dig it in this hole right here, see? And I'm just gonna step in front of his leg, and that's gonna actually be my first hook to take the back, okay? So I'm going like this, boom, just like that. Okay, so I'm safe from the knee bar because my knee line is out, and then I switch, and I get my first hook, okay? I wanna talk about this position a little bit. This position I refer to as the reverse half back take because when I first learned this, it comes from reverse half guard, passing reverse half guard. In this situation, what you're trying to do is control the opponent's rotation, okay? So right now, that collar grip I got really early on, I'm using it to lock my forearm behind his back and prevent him from turning to his right, okay? So if Trav tries to turn to his right really, really hard, yeah, he's gonna feel my forearm stopping him. And if I release this grip, turn to your right now, Trav, he's gone, okay? Now, my bottom leg here, my bottom hook is preventing him from turning to his left. So even if I don't have this grip, if I'm just sitting here and I'm like, Trav, turn to your left, he's gonna be trapped because my leg is stopping that rotation, okay? So the collar grip stops rotation to the right, the bottom leg stops rotation to the left, and the final thing you have to think about when you're in this position, besides right rotation and left rotation, is the space between your hips, right here, okay? So I'm always driving my hips in and connecting my hips to his hips, and if I lax in this position and I create a little bit of distance, even though I control his rotation, he can use his right hand to swim through and underhook me. And now when I go to take his back, he's prevented this path of travel right here, and I'm not gonna be able to get around, and he's probably gonna flatten me and put me back in the half guard, okay? So when you end up, here, sit on your butt right here, Trev. When you end up in this situation, you're thinking about your bottom hook always being engaged, meaning when I pull my left knee out to protect my knee line and I switch my hook, I don't want there to be a moment where there's nothing controlling his rotation. So look right here. I don't want this to happen where I take this hook out and then I put this hook in because there's a little moment where he could flee to this direction. So I'm gonna do two at once and then take the other leg out, okay? The second thing you're thinking about is that initial lapel grip you got, locking it behind his shoulders and driving your forearm into his shoulders to stop right rotation. And then the final component is driving your hips in. And this situation we're in right here, it's relevant to more than just the waiter guard. This is, you can finish your berimbolas like this, You can pass the half guard and look for this position. This position in itself is like a system you can get really good at and is very useful. Actually, Adam Bradley is very, very good at this position, and he's kind of the one that like inspired me to get good at this position, because we train a lot and I'll do very well, and then we'll get to this position and he's like suspiciously good at this position. So it kind of inspired me to work on this a little bit. But anyway, once we get here, we're switching our hooks. Ball of the heel goes in right behind the knee. And now you can see he's sitting on my thigh. I'm just gonna use that mobility I got on my elbow to scoop myself out and then pinch my knees so he's stuck between my legs, okay? Now the final transition is really, really important. This is a spot where you can lose the position. Common mistake here is people get close to the back and they think, oh, let me go for the seatbelt. This is wrong, because again, just like switching the hooks below, I need to always maintain control of his rotation, even though I'm switching my grips. So rather than letting go of this right rotation control right here, I'm gonna underhook first. Now my left hand is blocking rotation to the right, and I can, with my right hand, secure the seatbelt. So this is like a safe grip exchange, and this is something you should always be thinking about while you guys are training. Not having a moment of vulnerability if you can avoid it, okay? Now I have my seatbelt. The final step is just to get my second hook, and the way I like to do this is just winging with my left arm open and then leading with my heel right in the pocket of his hip and stabbing it forward, okay? You can be really mean if he's blocking with his hand or something like that. You can use your hand across his face, hug his shoulder, and use a neck crank, bam, to open up that space. Or another one that I really like to do is if his hand is back here, kind of like grabbing my pants or something like that, I like to straighten my leg, and then I hug over his arm like this, and then I break the grip. And now I go straight over his arm and I trap his arm as well, okay? So that's the back take from the waiter guard and a little bit of the entry from deep half. There are a lot of entries for the waiter guard, and I'll cover those in other videos. But if you guys enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon if you want a way to support me. It's just a really easy way to show me that you guys appreciate the videos and you like what I put out. Also, please check out my courses for sale. They're in the description below. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.